Hi everyone, Elliot Jacobson here, and happy National Poetry Month. It is April. If you've ever wondered why April is Poetry Month, it's because of this guy, T.S. Eliot, who wrote this poem called The Wasteland, and the opening line of The Wasteland is, "April is the cruelest month," which I think we can all agree is true. Now, if you look at his name, Eliot right there, that's also my name, spelled that way. And if you look at that initial right there, that's a T for Thomas. Thomas is my middle name. My mom was reading The Wasteland when she went into labor. So I guess there's some connection I have with this guy as far as poetry goes. And he wrote a lot of poetry in his lifetime, some great work in there. I've wrote just a tiny bit of poetry in my lifetime. And because I have not yet done so, I want to do a full poetry reading for you from my book that was just published December of 2021. Now, in my book, I do open with a few review comments, and these are just worth reading a couple. Let me just give you, this one is from Monotopia, who is the board president of Buzzkill magazine. She says, "What you are reading here is not poetry. At best, Jacobson has created a sequence of incoherent and unrelated sentences that start nowhere and go nowhere." Yeah, that's about what I would say is true about my work. This one is from Sita Famenbear, who is the editor-in-chief of the Cheddar, a very famous poetry magazine. "The poetry is about as scintillating as Weather Channel reruns. The author can't even manage an inferiority complex because his inferiority is too simple." Well, I hope you get the idea. I'm not getting the greatest reviews. Maybe just one more. This one is from John Swanker, Lieutenant San Rogerio Police. I don't know why he submitted a review, but he says, "I mean, who let this guy get in front of a keyboard? Isn't anyone paying attention?" All right, well, now you get to the sense of what my poetry is about. It's a little bit off the wall. And I'm of the philosophy that poetry creates a landscape. It creates its own little consistent world, and it invites you into that world as an observer. And you just get to partake in this, whatever this crazy moment is that the poet is offering you in their landscape of their mind. And you come away with something that you understand more, or you don't, but at least you have some experience along the way. So, here we go. The first poem I want to read to you is called "It's All My Fault." And this is a poetry about my own sense of guilt for my lack of activism, especially during the Trump years. And yeah, you'll understand when I get into this. It's all my fault. The wrong side of history belongs to people who eat candy corn one color at a time. Scientists say the 12 ingredients include sweeteners, artificial colors, animal skin and bones, and little red insects from Asia. Those on the wrong side of history reject this ingredient list as liberal socialist propaganda. They say yellow on the bottom represents the loyal working class. Orange in the middle are the lazy freeloaders. White is on top, because white belongs on top. In my younger days, I made candy corn fangs, stuck them up my nose like boogers, sliced them one at a time into segregated piles, flush the orange middles into the pipes and sewers of this country's heartland. And today, everywhere I look, I see the orange, shit-bonded remnants of my ignorant childhood and realize it's all my fault. Well, there you go. That's a poem, right? And you can really see that I'm feeling like this helplessness against really what my generation has allowed the world to evolve into, just through our own pollution, our pollution of our own bodies, our pollution of the environment, political pollution, and every other way that we have pretty much messed things up. We're not the only generation who ever messed things up. Pretty much every generation does. We just had a little bit more mess up power owing to fossil fuels than previous generations did. All right, this one is called Shopping for Godot, and it is about my aspirational desires for diet and health. And like most people, this has been a lifelong struggle, but we continue going on. It's also just a little bit of a little antagonistic against the whole machinery of health that's out there and naturopathic healing and medicine. Shopping for Godot. There are 17 brands of water on sale at Trader Joe's, and I'm thinking smart water infused with lavender essence, 0 parts per billion. Because I want to be smart. And lavender sounds like a spring meadow, lovers and their children, being chased by bees, all the times I ran, and how good I got at running, at eating, grass-fed, free-range, environmentally enlightened beef with an e-coupon redeemable for negative karma. Gluten-free, organic, non-GMO Gala apples, each handcrafted by a wild Arizona Mustang's bastard Kachina child. It's such a relief to be healthy again. My eyes stare Hubble blue at you. I'm 4 inches taller than Jesus. My abs are 6-pack aphrodisiacs. Oh, my love. With 8 reasons to doubt me. Forget your list and help me carry these heavy bags. Yeah, I guess we exaggerate our fitness and our health and our beauty. And at the end, if we're in a relationship where our lover understands us and our need for that sort of public image, they'll still be there to support us, is what we hope at the end of the day. And speaking of that topic, this is a poem about, well, kind of semi about my wife, but it is just about, about her health, but also just about an experience in the world that was rather odd. Happened about maybe 4 years ago down when we were seeing a musical in Los Angeles. And it's called At the Corner of Hollywood and Wilcox. My wife has gallstones and can't fully digest animal fats. Sometimes she gets sick after she eats red meat. Like the time we were going to the Pantages Theater to see If Then, starring Idina Menzel. And before the show, we ate at this chic upscale diner. We both ordered their 1/3 pound signature Angus classic burger. I sent mine back because it was too greasy to eat. The guy in the next booth got upset and told me that that's how they make them, and tossed a $20 bill onto our table as we were leaving. My wife puked her burger into a trash can at the corner of Hollywood and Wilcox. I bought her some Alka-Seltzer for her at the drugstore across the street. The show was good. We both liked it a lot. Spoiler: the intelligent multiverse conspired to bring the fated lovers together in 2 different timelines. Like at the math conference at Asilomar 20 years ago when Walter was late meeting us in the lobby because he got food poisoning from the Christmas rum ball Stuart's wife gave him. So instead of meeting Walter, I met Arlene. And the next day we went for a walk on the beach. And then we got married. We're grilling hamburgers for dinner tonight. And I'm hoping this is the timeline where the fated lovers watch Jeopardy and go to bed early. Yeah, as opposed to puking up her hamburger, right? I mean, that's what you should be thinking. So, kind of a strange poem to mention puking 2 or 3 times. I actually had to rework it to take out the word puke. A second time I used it. One of the reviewers did not care for that. Okay, when I was much younger in my teenage years, I used to do a lot of hitchhiking to festivals and sort of hang out with some hippie chicks. That is a long time ago, but this is a poem about one such experience back in 1977, and it is titled Wild Flamingos. We caught a ride in an 18-wheeler on our way to the rainbow gathering in New Mexico. She was a fruitarian named Carrie, who was sure that harmonic convergence was going to happen at noon on 7777 and give us all the power to fly. We slept on bare ground in a parking lot at a bluegrass music festival in southern Idaho and dreamed of lifting off with the flamingos, 2 million of us, circling over Lake Ayasi, soaring together in crystal naked pink flight. The next morning, we woke up covered by a blanket left by a stranger, our wings clipped short. She gave me her medicine pouch and a feather and told me that salt marshes just weren't her thing, then left me for a banjo player named Moonstone. And now, I am searching for the flamingo hiding in this keyboard, pink from shrimp, button eyes, standing tiptoe on one leg. I think I may have seen it last Tuesday, hitchhiking somewhere around the semicolon or ampersand. Yeah, we pretty much all long for youth in some ways, don't we? The adventures that we had. Life is just not like that for me anymore, certainly. I'm just a homebody these days. Cheers. Yeah, poetry is difficult for me. It's one of these things where I have to enter such a different mental place to have a complete experience of a place and time and be involved in that so that I can honestly express that experience. So poetry is all about the experience. It isn't about telling someone about something or writing an essay or making a point or being clever with rhymes. It's about providing a place and a time and a landscape that's visual and coherent and full of sensual experience and offering that to the person. And I think this next poem I'm going to read to you is really exactly that more than anything else I've read so far. It is called Dead Elephant Hair. And let's see what you make of it. The end of an African elephant's tail is hairy. The hair is coarse and strong, like fishing line. On big game safaris, it's traditional to cut off the tail of your dead elephant with a knife. The Bwana will take a picture of you holding the tail in one hand and your knife in the other. When posing, make sure to hold the tail vertically, bloody stump down, hairy tip up. Don't let blood drip onto the hair. Nobody likes bloody elephant hair. It's very hard to clean. Legend says wearing an elephant hair bracelet will protect you from misfortune and illness. It will bring love, health, and prosperity. You only need 2 or 3 hairs. You can buy a bracelet on eBay, or you can kill your own elephant. Tanzania and Mozambique still allow elephant hunting, but Zimbabwe is the best place to go. You will find an elephant to kill about midway between Bulawayo and Victoria Falls. So yeah, it's just completely honest to itself, right? It's in this place of not lying. The character believes everything they're saying with such earnestness. And I will leave it at that, right, for you to understand. And I'm sure you do the real point. Okay, finally, last poem is the poem which represents the cover of my book. Now, I have the nerve to put a unicorn on the cover of my book, and there is a point to that. The point is this back cover, so altogether it's one picture, which is a picture of my mother, or at least an idealized picture of her, with her sort of disheveled horn up over here, looking away from the unicorn, looking in the other direction. And so this last poem is the title poem of the cover, and it says that right here, Shirley the Unicorn. I'm going to read that to you now. Shirley the Unicorn lies about her email address, hates rainbows, doesn't eat fish, never thanks anyone. Once plagiarized the slogan, always be yourself unless you can be a unicorn, then always be a unicorn. It's no longer flattered by seeing little girls with portraits of her knitted into their shirts, socks, and backpacks, by Saturday morning cartoons on PBS, airbrushed velvet paintings, mystics and psychics calling her by name. They've got it all wrong. She's much shorter than that. Her horn is arthritic and misshapen. It hasn't been polished in years. She rarely bathes anymore. And even though her mane was golden many decades ago, it is now rust orange and tangled beyond repair. Her hairbrush lost under stacks of unread magazines with titles like The Modern Unicorn, which once featured her as its centerfold, her keratin spiral glistening erect in manicured anticipation. Shirley stops eating just long enough to fart. She's thinking about the night she spent with Pegasus, what it would be like to have wings like his, a body thriving on water and light, to care about anything at all. So yeah, that's Mom right there, and that's the poem about Mom. So I'm so grateful if you made it to this part of the video. I really don't expect anybody to listen to 6 poems of mine, but if you did, thank you so much. And if after hearing all of that poetry you're interested in buying this book, it is available on Amazon.com, totally disconnected, The Poetic Ramblings of a Socially Awkward Mathematician. And I hope you will find your way over to Amazon and pick up a copy. So, okay, everybody, happy Poetry Month. Thank you for sharing your time with me here. See you later.